Hey y'all, it's Christy Cook from Teadoddles. It is time for the next Happy Scrappy Yarn Challenge, and September is my month to pick the challenge. Okay, I'm going to squeeze this in somewhere because I think I totally forgot to say that I do this with Christy from Crochet Creations by Christy, and it was my month to choose. I can't remember if I said that or not, so I'll add this in if I forgot to say it. I can't remember because I got interrupted so many times. So this is the Happy Scrappy Yarn Challenge is something that I do with Christy from Crochet Creation by Christy. So I'll have her YouTube link down below. So first, let's say welcome new subscribers, welcome back subscribers. I'm happy to have you here with me in my maker shenanigans. I do like to do the sewing things, the yarny things, the DIY things. So you'll see a little bit of all of that here. I do consider this a maker channel, so if you like to make things, you might like it here. All right then. So this month is my month to choose the theme, okay? And I have gone with yarn art. Yes, yarn art, because I think it will be fun for everyone to get out of their comfort zones with yarn and try some new things. So yeah, that's what it's all about. Now, yarn art is a very subjective thing. Can we put it that way? There are a lot of things you can do to express yourself art-wise with yarn. Now, I do consider crochet and knitting and the typical loom weaving and those kind of things you think about when you think about yarn to be forms of art as well. So I'm going to talk to you about some different ways to use your yarn that you may not have thought about before. And it actually is perfect. These things are perfect for yarn scraps, okay? I know that some of y'all are like, because you love to follow a pattern, you loved the security of a pattern to stay with it and just go with the flow, and very linear type of person. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I got interrupted by a phone call from my son, and that lasted almost 2 hours. So I was talking about linear thinkers and how some people really love to follow a pattern and don't like to go off track very much, but I was saying I feel like if you would try that, you may find that it actually increases your creativity and can help you with your standard work, so to speak, if that makes any sense. Standard work. Ugh. I hate to say standard work when I'm talking about crochet and knitting and things like that, but that's what I mean by that. So there's a blog post that'll go along with all the things I'm going to talk about today, because I have quite a bit of my own things to show you involving yarn art, and the blog post will be divided up that way. I've done several posts on my own blog about some of these things, and I've tried to link to some inspirational pieces and some posts that have good, or places that have good tips about doing these different things, that sort of thing. Okay, one more interruption. My dog, she's been barking all afternoon and nothing. Let's try to get through this, okay? Hopefully I can piece together all that first part for it to make sense. Anyway, so the first thing I was going to show you is this freeform crochet that I did, I think it was 2017. And I did it for the 100-day project. It's the only one I actually finished that I started for the 100-day project. And I had a ton of yarn scraps, and I decided to just make a freeform project. So this is, I don't know if you're going to be able to see all of it. This is my freeform crochet. Like, I guess it would be a wall hanging. I need to find like a big hula hoop or something, I guess, to stretch it over. I don't know how to hang this up, but it was over the back of my chair for a while. But so this is something that kind of looks like a little flower on a hill or something. But all of this was just, I started with this center portion and kind of did a spiral, kept adding bits and bobs, and then I squared it out, and then I went back round. And there's just all kinds of stuff in here. Just random furry fun bits, and I just made up some stuff that I wish I had wrote down now so that maybe I could do a pattern with it, especially like right in here with all this going on. Yeah, it was really fun. It was actually really exciting, relaxing to do in the evenings, to just put the next patch of yarn in it, or next patch or two of yarns, and just whatever I felt like doing. It was fun, and I kind of bound it all off with 24/7 cotton, which is something I despise, but I put it in here, surprisingly, because I wanted the border to be the same color, so that's what I had a lot of. So that is something, and like I said, this is the biggest thing in freeform crochet I've ever done. And I will say I've done some freeform knitting, mostly because when I was practicing knitting, I was just kind of trying out different techniques and doing things, and I was going to make a scarf, but then I pulled it out. Anytime you just kind of go off on your own tangent, that's technically freeform. You're not going by a pattern, even if it becomes something more linear, because there's some people who do patches of things and then they sew them together, or little bits and bobs. So it comes in different forms. So, and the people who do knitting, a lot of times they call them scrumbles, little bits and bobs. A lot of people take their swatches and things and make them into something else. So that's a form of freeform knitting or crochet. I think it's quite fun and interesting to do. So the next one that I've actually done 2 posts about is weaving. Now, weaving can be a kind of standard thing, more uniform, but I'm talking about the weavings, the wonderful weavings where you've created an image in your yarn and the tapestries, those kind of things. So I did a blog post a while back, I think this was in 2017 too, about this. This is my framed weaving, which I actually connected. There's staples holding, I strung all of this, and there's staples at the bottom, but I put in these tiny eye hooks, which I don't know if you're gonna be able to see them, up at the top to loop it through, and I made this portion. It's again 24/7 cotton, and then I just wove in a bunch of scraps, a lot of fun furs and different textured stuff. And I kind of left the edges overlapping because I just liked the way that looked. It's framed but unframed at the same time, and this frame was a $1 frame I got while I was out thrifting. So and I painted it and did that kind of stuff with it. So that is something fun to do it with different size frames. I did a blog post on this, like I said. It'll be linked in the main blog post for the Happy Scrappy Yarn Challenge. Originally I had done macrame in here and I didn't like the way it turned out, so I changed it. So next I've done weaving on branches, which I find very fun to do because there's so many different angles in a branch depending on what you find. This was a really fun for me to do. You can see that I kind of went back and forth over the branches with some yarn, and then I wove things in there, and then I just wove the yarn around in different places in different ways in the little forks in the branch. So yeah, this is like a 3D, more 3D type weaving than a flat one. So this is really fun to do as well. It's also great for yarn scraps, and I have yet to figure out how I would hang this so it just sits in there in the other room. It's not even in a room where people would be most of the time, but you know, I still like it and I think it's cool. So that is something that will be listed in there. I feel like there was one more. Oh, string art, which typically you think of string, but you can use yarn to do string art. That's the type. I don't have anything here that I've done, but where you take nails or pins and you make an image and then you string stuff in between it. There's some really amazing ones out there. That would be another fun one to do, is string art. So next would be kind of bits and bobs of multimedia. Even though this is a happy scrappy yarn challenge, sometimes it's fun to mix yarn with other things. This is not really multimedia, but it's supposed to be like a feather, but I don't think it worked out very well with it's a macrame feather that I did with some fun yarns. It's kind of cool looking. I don't think it looks very much like a feather, but it's kind of cool looking. So that's something fun to do. Macrame with your yarn. Typically it's done with more of a rope type thing. But you can do it with your yarn as well. And then I have this. I did a whole series on the blog about this, which will be linked. I did each of these individually. It is a tree for every season. I actually started with this tree, which is my winter tree. It does have yarn in there. This is freeform quilting, but I did it over the top of yarn bits. You can see the yarn down in here to give more texture to my tree. I think that one is my favorite. And then fall. This one was actually fun to do, even if you can see all my trunks have yarn on them. This was not as complicated because the yarn I chose was very fluffy, but it reminded me very much of a tree in the fall. So, and then I have spring, which I was thinking of a cherry blossom tree. And I tied knots in some of the yarn as I stitched it to like make knots in the tree. This one actually, what I did is cut up yarns and lay them here, and then I put dissolvable sulky over it. I pinned it and I stitched on the top of that until it seemed like everything was sewed down, and then I soaked it away. So yeah, so I could get that more multiple leaf look, I suppose, or flower look I was going for. And then this one is my summer tree, which another favorite, because I really like this portion. And I did this because I was thinking about the trees that grow in swamps and stuff around here. They get this look to their roots because they're growing in water. So yeah, we got all the greens in there. I did this very similar to this one with the sulky. So, and then I set it all together, and this is one of the first times I used my stamp and tag. I wish I had put this in a different place now, but that's okay. I made these little tags to hang it, and I don't know where to hang it, so. And I also used fabric scraps to make it, so that is a good example of multimedia. I'm using the fabric and the yarn and the thread. Now you can also, I've seen a lot of things where they take yarn and they kind of manipulate it and swirl it to make an image, and they glue it down on paper. That would be really fun to do. I haven't done that. What are some of the other ones I've seen? My brain has lost what I had in it. Oh, I've seen some things where they do stuff in hoops, kind of a crochet. It's almost like a crochet doily, but then they add other bits and things in it, and it's in one of those embroidery hoops. That would be really fun to do. There's all kinds of things you can do with yarn art. I would just encourage you to step outside your comfort zone. Try doing something different with your yarn. This is a really fun one to do with the scraps, which is what the challenge is mostly about, or those one skeins of fun fur that you don't know what to do with. So I would encourage you to just try one of these things and just see what you come up with. I think you'll enjoy the experience, and if anything, you'll learn what not to do, which is sometimes the only way to find out what to do, right? Now, I need to show you the prize for this month, but I have to go get it, so I'm going to have to pause again. Sorry. Okay. So, I decided this month, since it is yarn art, that for the giveaway, I was going to give away one of my skeins of Southern Skeins yarn, which is definitely yarn art because it is hand-dyed yarn. This is from one of the sock clubs. This is from the May 2019 sock club, as a matter of fact. And it's called Toes in the Sand, and the mini is called Florida Days. Florida Days, that's the mini, the little blue. And then you got this lovely bluish, yellow, greeny colorway. And it does come with this little, cute little polymer clay flip-flops stitch marker. So this is from my personal collection because I have a whole bin of her yarn. So I think I can let a skein go. But for those that are allergic to wool, do know that this is wool yarn. This is, oh, it's not on this tag, but it is mostly superwash merino and nylon, like sock yarns typically are. It is a sock weight yarn, which is, what is that, #1, I think. So I've got this, and then I've also got a mini maker bag. This is made of batiks, which is a work of art, because batiks are done with wax relief on the fabrics. There's a different one on each side. These were some leftovers I had. Again, oh, there is, what is that on there? It's just a piece of lint. And on the inside we have this wonderful orangey color. Yeah, this is when I was still putting the tag on the side. So that's what this month's prize is. I put the fuzz on the yarn. A skein of Southern Skeins Let's try that again. Southern Skeins Sock Club. It's from the May 2019 Sock Club. And a mini maker bag, which is got something different on both sides because I made these from a charm layer cake, and I had put a bunch in the shop, and I just had 2 that were different, and I made this one. So yeah, that is this month's prize. So I want to see all your yarn art in the group. I can't wait to see it. I'm very excited. I'm trying to get better about going into the group and looking at everything. My other group, I haven't done that either. So like I said, I'm excited to see everybody's yarn art. I'll have a link down below to my blog post that will give you more links and more ideas for yarn art. I hope you will share it. I did want to share this before I leave, that I got my yarn chicken cup in from Teespring. Look at him. So that link will be down below if you'd like to go check that out. I did have my son add one of the totes with yarn chicken on it because someone asked what there's no bag in there, which they were laughing because I will be putting this on some bags that I make, but I don't know when I'll be able to do that. So I went ahead and added the tote. It's just a basic canvas tote with the yarn chicken on it. So y'all go check that out. And y'all remember to have a life lived creatively, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.